I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. We have breaking news on multiple stories. Stunning scenes out of Eagle Pass, Texas tonight as the Lone Star State takes a stand for its own sovereignty and the rule of law by blocking the Biden welcome wagon from fast-tracking migrants into the United States. And in Chicago, they were forced to move thousands of migrants into what they're calling warming buses due to the record cold temperatures hitting that region. And moving east to Massachusetts, a group in Melrose called the Immigrant Support Alliance is reportedly encouraging residents to open their homes to the migrants. An information session there called Exploring the Host Home Experience takes place on Monday. And the notice reads, "Are you curious about what's involved in hosting an immigrant for short-term shelter as they begin their journey toward independence?" Today, housing immigrants in your house is voluntary, but tomorrow, we'll see. And at a time when the country is struggling to cope with and pay for the millions that Biden's already waved in, most of them from third world countries, draft legislation being supported by Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell will make it even easier for Biden to greenlight almost 2 million more over the next year alone. Now, I asked the ranking member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee about it earlier this week. This border deal that the Republicans are cooking up that Chuck Schumer and apparently Mitch McConnell and others are going to agree to that, you say?
It's a sellout. It's going to continue to allow illegal immigration, particularly migrants. It's saying, oh, we'll let 5,000 people come illegally a day, and then after that, we might try to stop the next 5,000 that day. It's completely a sellout, but it's because people like Senator McConnell care more about Ukraine than anything else.
I would say that this is the most important piece of legislation that will be considered this year, perhaps in the last 5 years. And yet it's tangled up with another $60 billion spending request for Ukraine. Now, this is the first sign it's bad. And Oklahoma Senator Jim Langford on the Border Subcommittee is spearheading this bill, and it's supported by the most notorious big-spending open borders Republicans.
This shouldn't be something that we don't address here. How can we address this in a bipartisan way? Unfortunately, the House didn't have any Democrats on board, and for the last 2.5 months, we've met in a bipartisan way to hammer out how do we solve this.
Senator Langford, you've done an extraordinary job of negotiating what I think is going to be a successful compromise that's going to get support from Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah, says Tom Tillis, the man who voted to give Biden $1 trillion for infrastructure, which ended up being a gateway to an even worse so-called Inflation Reduction Act. Well, details in this border bill are already leaking out, and they usually like doing these types of things, releasing the text of a bill in the middle of the night. They bury the damage in hundreds or thousands of pages of text that is almost always written by lobbyists. But tonight, we seem to know this, that anything Schumer and Durbin will agree to will be a shiv in the back of American workers and a gift to big business and Biden's campaign. Why do it? The legislation will reportedly increase the number of foreign workers allowed in the country, give immediate work permits to those released from custody, and still allows several thousand more migrants every day to enter. More on this in a moment with Mike Lee. Now, it's worth noting that when he was up for re-election in 2022, Senator Langford sounded pretty tough on the Biden border fiasco. He was hitting Biden's decision to simply process people into the country more quickly. And at the time, he noted that the national security crisis they've created for the country and the chaos they've created at the border, that Langford was right. Someone should go try to find him. Now, look no further than his bedfellows and the House who are parroting their tired old arguments.
We need immigrants in this country. Forget the fact that the that our vegetables would rot in the ground if they weren't being picked by many immigrants, many illegal immigrants.
Do you ever remember not having vegetables growing up? Neither do I. Now, no Republican should touch this or be involved with this sham in any way, shape, or form. Let the voters sort this out in November. We don't need a fig leaf of enforcement. We need a new president. Now, McConnell even admitted behind closed doors that they're afraid that Trump won't cave and give them the foreign workers they want. Read between the lines there. Now, it might make sense that Democrats would want to import more workers into the United States, right? Because they're the party of woke Wall Street and the plutocracy. But it makes no sense that Republicans, who are winning right now because of the votes of working people, and who, by the way, are despised by big business, it makes no sense for them to help the left at every turn.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.